Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. This is more on the BS stuff, brainstorming. And like I say, I left off, I was talking about the marriage and the what makes the companionship strong and what makes them bond and hold together. Because like I say, on now my in my case, like I say, I only had the one woman, one wife, 41 years, and it wasn't money. I lost money twice. I lost money, and I mean I lost all of my money, and so it wasn't money that had anything to do with it. Uh, it you it may be, you're right, maybe on the green card, but my wife didn't have a green card. Uh, she became a citizen. She wanted to be an American. She wanted to. And it's funny because when we got married, she didn't want to be an American. She didn't want to come to the United States. She wanted to go to Europe. And because there was a lot of Central American people going to Europe, and that's what she wanted to do. And her father, and she's Chinese, like I say, my wife's Chinese, all Chinese, but she was born and raised in Guatemala. That's the big difference. And that's what I've learned since I've been here. The Chinese that are born in Guatemala is a whole lot different than the Chinese born here in China. And maybe one of these days I might talk a little bit my thoughts on why something like that would happen. But anyway, it's a fact. They are different. And I say so. Money had nothing to do with my relationship, and like I say, coming to the United States had nothing to do with it. And now, at this particular time in my life, uh, I don't have to be in the United States. I don't have to be in Guatemala. I don't have to be in China. I can go anywhere I want, and it's taken time for me to get like this. Like I say, I've got skills, and it's not skills like I can go get a job. I'm not talking about those kind of skills. I've got other kinds of skills. I've got over 1,500 videos talking about all kinds of stuff. And some of that stuff was some of the skills that I have. And I'm not talking about work. And so anyway, in my case, money had nothing to do with it. And being in the United States had nothing to do with it. Matter of fact, I kept wanting to move to Guatemala. After my father died, I had no mother. And like I said, I lost my mother when I was 5, my father at 25. I got married at 22. And so, I mean, we were by ourselves. I said, hey, I'd rather go to Guatemala and be with your folks because, like I say, our relationship, our marriage, our Chinese culture brings two families together. That's how it works. You're not alone. It's you against the world. It's not like that. And that's what I like. The only problem, I didn't have it. And my wife wanted to stay in the United States. She thought it'd been more opportunity for my kids if we stayed in the States. So we did. Once the kids got educated and then got married, and then that's when we moved to Guatemala. And so she could be with her because her mother and father were still alive, and I wanted her to be with her mother and father because I never had them. So I wanted her to be with them. And that's when I was doing my touring on the motorcycle with the dog, with Xena, and I would travel from Panama on up to Canada on the motorcycle. So that's what I'm saying. These are skills that I've learned. I've learned how to deal with when bad things happen. I learned how to deal with them. And now I'll tell you, on women, while we're on the subject on the being married, if I was a woman and the man does not have the ambition and the want and drive to take care of me and take care of our children, I'd dump him. And I don't know if that's the reason for the over 50% divorce rate in the United States or not. I don't know. Because like I say, I haven't been divorced. Even though the last 5 years of our marriage, my wife was sickly. The last 3 years, I had to stay at her side for the last 3 years. So, and it's not the money that kept me all that. The money has nothing to do with this stuff. I'll tell you, through my life, I have either lost or given away more money than I have. So that's just, it's not money. And I've learned this. I learned this way back a long time ago. And so that's why I learned to adjust my life without money. And that's why I say I'm homeless. I've got no money and I have no job. And like I say, that doesn't appeal to women. Now it's odd because every one of the Chinese women, every one of them, when I tell them that, they'll say, "Wow, how do you do that?" That drives their interest. They want to know more. In which all the Central America, South America, the Western Hemisphere women, all of them, wow, no job, no house, no money. Hey, I don't want you. It stops that easy. And so that's telling me that in their minds, they're thinking, hey, if the guy can't provide for me, I don't want him. And I don't blame him. The difference is the culture. And like I say, the Chinese woman says, wow, how can you do that? Because they want to, that sounds interesting to them. It doesn't sound interesting to the Western Hemisphere people, but it does sound interesting for the ones here. And because like I say, they wonder, wait, I'm not a tourist. I'm not here just for a couple of weeks. I've already been here over a month and a half. I was planning on I told everybody I have to leave by at least November or December because I got to go back and get a new passport. So, and everybody's just amazed, well, how do you do like this? And that's right. And I'm not going to do it again, talking about that. I'm not going to start talking about that. Because like I say, I lost my passport and I don't know why. And the reason was I don't have a support system. Now, I'm used to not having a support system. That's no problem. And but the problem is when you don't have a support system and a government, it doesn't matter what government it is, but when the government comes down on you and you don't have a support system, you pretty much got the shaft. And just think about it. Everybody that you know that works for the government, their attitude is, I represent the government. They are the power. And if they think you are the only one, they're going to walk all over you. That's just people with power, they do it. It could be a simple policeman will get that same attitude. It's not because he's a badass, because he represents a whole bunch of other people. So, and like I say, I haven't been here long enough to get a support system. And normally I can do it in just a few days. But because of my communications problem, I haven't been able to reach the right people to give me the support that I'm going to need to defend myself from the government. So since they got my passport, I'm waiting to get my passport back because I still haven't figured out why they took it. And but I need to have it back because, like I say, you have to have a passport. I don't care where you're at. Even in the United States, you need a passport. So Americans need one, even in the United States. So what I'm going to now, I'm just kind of just playing it by ear till I get my passport. When I get my passport back, then I can start figuring out what am I going to do. And right now, talking about brainstorming. I'm just thinking. Okay, I said the number one goal for me to come here was to find a wife. Okay, it's not as easy as it's nothing in these comments. People, they don't. I don't know how y'all think. I don't know, and that's why I'm making the video to let you know how I think. Okay, I do Hoi Chi. It's not a medical. It's some type of, I think it's Chinese medicine of some type. It's not traditional Chinese medicine, I don't think. That's why I need to introduce myself or get myself involved in the traditional Chinese arena, if you want to say it like that, and have them study me. I've been studied by American doctors and some European doctors. Some from Belgium, they came down to Central America. They heard what I was doing, and they came down and studied me. So, and nobody can tell what it is I'm doing, and they can't believe the results that I get. That's what I'm trying to do here in China. Do they know what it is I'm doing? And because if they know what I'm doing, then they can help me get even better. Now, if they don't know what I'm doing, it is based on traditional Chinese medicine. But it's not really, I don't think, but it is based on it, on what I know of it. And I kind of remember, I'm a country boy from Kansas, Oklahoma. I mean, there's not a whole lot of Chinese culture there to feed off of. I had to use my imagination, and I did. And that's how I got all this stuff going. So another thing I'm doing here is I want them to study me and tell me if this is what I'm doing and what I'm doing. And if it's beneficial, I help people. I don't care who these people are. I've noticed when people feel good, when you have food in your stomach and you are content and pain-free, you're not a threat. So I try to help people. So I'm hoping to get them to study me before I leave. And then I'm hoping, well, I don't care either way. Either they study me and find out I'm a quack and that's it. That's okay. And if they find out, hey, you've got something, good. They can invite me back. Now I have a support system when I come back to China. I won't be by myself. So they will be there to help me when this big bad government comes down on me. But anyway, we'll talk some more. Like I said, we'll make a series on this. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.